Welcome to the Man Cave. We are two live dudes.
Yes, sir.
I am Mr. Bowtie and I'm here with
The nice one. Be nice.
all right. And today we're gonna get personal, man. So what we did was we both wrote down 5 random questions
Yeah.
that we are gonna answer in front of you guys here right now. And for those of you who like the video, please make sure you hit the link below,
Yes,
subscribe to
sir.
the page, follow us both on Instagram, YouTube, and everywhere else on social media platforms.
And
all
you
right?
can add your comments to your verses too if you want to join in on the comments. You know, everybody can share their little interesting story.
Yeah,
Right.
this should be an interesting segment.
This is called the two live first, or top 5 first. Two live dudes first.
And like we do every time, we're gonna start with our black light, which is where we shed a little light on some
Yeah.
black history.
Melanin report.
Right on. So the person we're gonna talk about today is Crispus Attucks. If you don't know who Crispus Attucks is, Crispus Attucks was a black Indian born into slavery in 1723 in somewhere in Massachusetts. They don't know exactly where he was born or what month he was born.
Of course, they ain't
But,
keep records for us.
Exactly. He did escape slavery at 27 years old, became a sailor in Boston, and a street fighter. He was one of the people who started the Revolutionary War. So there are a lot of paintings of the Revolutionary War out there, and this is one black guy who looks like he's been slain down. That is Crispus Attucks. He was the first person shot in the Boston Massacre.
Yeah.
And he was shot twice in the chest. He was honored as a hero afterwards. His death sparked the Revolutionary War, which separated America from Great Britain's rule.
Yeah.
All right, and all of it started being because Britain was paying their soldiers cheap, very cheap labor, and they were taking jobs away from Americans when they had to be here because they didn't make enough money to support their families back in Britain.
Right. So they would
So it ended up becoming a big
undercut.
fuel up war. Yeah, and they protested. They came out, and then as we all know, the Boston the Boston army, after all the rebellion and revolt, shot fire on people. He was the man standing in front. He was the first person shot, and he is now prevailed as a hero and a revolutionary, not just a black revolutionary, but an American revolutionary.
Exactly. Most of the stuff you'll hear about our black highlights will be American stories. They just happen to be melaninated in blacks, so we have to remember that it's American history, not just black history.
Right on. All right. So we're gonna jump into these questions, man. I'm telling you, I'm a little nervous because this man to my right is he's a big fool, and I don't know what he finna ask me. But I'm gonna be honest with you. So let's go, man. I'm gonna go ahead and step on the fire first,
right,
man. Let me hear your question first.
I got a good one. First time, we all have a first, and most homies, they remember it in a very fairy tale like beginning, but normally they're adding lies to it. So we're gonna cut the tissue out of this bull and get to the direct answers that is telling the truth. So the question is, your first sex act. Do you remember it? How was it? Was it all that good stuff?
So wait. So when you say sex act, the first time penetrating or doing anything sexual?
Nah, penetration. We
Penetration.
already dry humped and licked on. That's the beginning. That's like the foreplay to the real thing. So
All right.
go into the real deal when you first jumped in. How was that?
All right. So my very first time, man. I was in high school. I was probably 16.
Okay.
And
Late bloomer.
yeah, man. So it's a chick that of course I went to school with. We met on a bus. She told me how she liked me, whatever. I thought it was joking. And then she had just came to the school too, so she only been there for like a couple weeks.
So she
and
was
then
choosing, you just didn't realize.
didn't even know, right? I was too naive, man. I was ignorant. But anyway, so one day we ride home from school on the bus. She said she wanted to come down to my house. Couldn't take her to my house. Ended up taking her to my brother's house, who stayed in an apartment underneath mine.
Okay.
So,
older brother.
Yeah, the actually younger brother. You're younger.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we every day after school I go to his house, and that was just our normal routine. We sit there and watch cartoons, Dragon Ball Z at the time. So
That's true.
And then so she came over, and she started because I ain't know what the fuck to do. So, so she started rubbing on me, talking about she wanted to do it. I thought she was bullshitting.
Yeah.
And long story short, end up hitting on my brother's bed because put him out his own room. Like, man, look, man, finna do something here. Did it, man. He made me wash the sheets afterwards. Like, I had to legit take all the sheets off the bed and wash them. And I was terrible, dog. The whole experience was terrible. Now that I've matured and grown and know what it is. She laid there the whole time. I was on top. I ain't had no stroke game. I had my feet on the wall, like pushing my feet like this on the wall to stroke. It was terrible, dog.
Damn. So she didn't leave that. What did she realize she didn't get what she wanted, or
well, she told me that she didn't believe I was a virgin, which was because I seemed very comfortable with what I was doing. I didn't let her know this is the first time, but I did tell her I was a virgin. And after that, she went and told everybody that she took my virginity, and I denied it. I was like, nah, it wasn't the first time. But it was terrible, and she probably don't even remember it. That's how terrible I was. Because as I know what my performance was then and what my performance is today, I'm ashamed.
Yeah, you get better with age and experience. You know, experience is the number one teacher.
Yeah.
As far as myself, I have a disclaimer. You know, I grew up around sex at a very young age. So I saw a lot of sex acts. I saw a lot of sexual energy in the household with other people besides my parents. So, but fast forward, I was saying that to say I've hunched and did a lot of grown up stuff before my first encounter. But when I got to my first encounter, I was pretty much a vet by then because I'm counting this as my first encounter because I can't count when I had sex with my dad's older friend and. Well, I could count that, but
tell that story. I want to hear that one.
Okay. So, I think I was around 13. It was my 13th birthday.
Okay.
My dad, he had to be in his upper 20s or whatever, probably. Yeah, he was about 27, 28 probably.
Interesting. Okay.
And he went to a bar. This was in Alabama, so this is in probably Pritchard, Alabama, somewhere around there. And let me rewind. It was in California because we had been moved by then, but it was a bar in California, but I don't remember where. But anyway, we sitting at the bar. He talking to a lady, and they chopping it up. I'm sitting next to him, looking all shy and nervous and stuff. I'm in the corner, not there really drinking. I got a Coke, so he drinking all the beers and all this. So it's like me, him, and then the lady. So he talking to her, and before you know it, it's late. You know, it's a couple hours in there. So we leaving out, and he like, "Come on, son." So she's leaving with us and get in the car and all that. I'm like, "Your friend ride with us?" Huh? He's like, "Yeah." Actually, she's your friend tonight. So it was like a birthday present.
So he got you a hooker?
Yeah, I don't know if she was a hooker or a friend of his or how it was, but all I know, we went to a room. You know what I'm saying? I was nervous as shit because I didn't know what to do. She unbuttoned my pants and was playing one little pecker for a minute until it got ready. And then she turned around. I did the old-fashioned doggy style on her.
Okay.
And they really got fun with it. And then jumped on top of her chest. And yeah.
So how was it?
It was fun. It was all that I had seen prior to. Because, like I said, I used to see a lot of my parents' friends and all that. They used to have, I ain't gonna say fuck parties, but they would have parties, and then a lot of drugs would happen, and a lot of stuff would
This is what, the 80s, right?
Yeah, it was the early 80s,
Yeah,
like
it happened
83, 84, some shit like that, yeah. Yeah, so.
Did you use a rubber?
Nah, there wasn't no rubbers involved back then, brother.
I didn't use one the first time either.
I don't know what a rubber was when I was 13 years old. I just know my thing was real happy to be in that wet juicy bottom. And I enjoyed every minute of it. So, but like I said, I didn't want to recount that because I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
But that was the first.
Yeah, that was the first. But I was gonna say my ninth grade. But yeah, that's the first time. So now
see, I ain't gonna keep it real. He's gonna tell us the one where he did good.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I ain't want to get too explicit, you know. But yeah, it was. Some people would say child molestation or something like that. But hey,
where we didn't know it existed.
We didn't know when you're a boy and you horny, you're not caring how old the female is unless she's a little girl. Then you're not doing that. I hope not.
You just want to be the only one that wasn't lying when your friends was talking about it.
So,
all right.
Yeah, that's my first.
So
Hey.
we talked about the first, man. That was cool. All right. So I'm gonna talk about something, man. We're gonna talk about the first time you got your ass whooped, not a whooping, but first time you got in a
Street
fight and you got your ass whooped. Like you went home and you know you lost this fight.
Lumped up, huh? You want me to tell it?
Yeah, you go first.
Shit. I'm gonna be 100 with you, bro. I was not that loser type guy. I took a lot of W's when I was growing up. I took an L probably later on, and that was because I got jumped, and that was like mid high school, 11th grade. But prior to that, I had a fight with my brothers. I had an older brother. He was probably like 17. I was 14, and we fought, and I beat him. My cousin beat me up. You know, you fighting family. That don't count. Yeah. But all right, but when outside of that, my first fight was probably a dude in probably like the 5th or 6th grade, and I was going to Gumpers Elementary in Inglewood, California. And I was messing with this girl, and we was in the lunch line. Everybody line up, then they get their plate and sit outside, and we get to the lunch area. We ain't had no inside cafeteria. It was like pretty much outside with bleachers and had an over little rain, like a rain, but it was inside.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we said outside, but basically, so we outside messing around, and I'm messing with this one girl that my boy, I guess he liked it, and he wasn't feeling that she was smiling and laughing at me all the time. So I'm sitting on little bars and shit, like on the little two little bars, the rail to divide the line. He pushed me all that shit. I hit the back of my head hard as fuck. But everybody laughing, but I'm so worried about them laughing, I get right back up. Man, I'm like, man, what's wrong with you? So he like, what's up, nigga? You trying to talk to my girlfriend? And then we go at it. My head is steady, just bleeding from me hitting straight on the nail.
Boy.
So I'm bleeding blood all the back of my head, but I still trying to fight him and shit. And I think he got a couple good licks in. And then I started getting dizzy and he started kicking me and shit. Then they broke us up. So that was kind of like my first little ass whooping over a girl, if you want to say.
Okay.
She ended up still liking me though. So.
Cause you stood your ground. That's really what it is. You stood your ground.
Stood my ground.
And niggas don't understand. You can fight over a girl. She's still gonna choose who she want to choose.
Exactly.
It don't matter.
And what's yours?
So my first ass whooping, man, I remember very vividly. And mind you, man, I grew up in St. Louis, and nigga, you had to be able to fight in the hoods I grew up in.
Yeah, I heard that's like down up north Alabama. As far as how they act and talk out there. But anyway, that's a whole other story.
What? Anyway, so man, I was in elementary school. I was 5th grade.
That's the year.
Dude in my class, man. I remember his name too. I ain't gonna say it, but I remember his name.
You don't forget your
Nah. I forgot what we got into the school. I was a smart ass, and just much like I am now. Yeah. And I was probably cracking a joke about something and said something to him. He got mad. He was bigger than me, and I was like, man, he ain't gonna do nothing anyway. But we all walked home from school. Like, I ain't never catch a bus. We all walked home, and there was a big crowd of kids that walked in the same area. We all went to the same apartments. So, after school, we leaving. We used to go down this hill, and everybody used to tumble on this hill. I go down there, do the same thing, hitting backflips. I come back, he's standing there waiting on me. Sheesh. Like, nah, what's up? I told you we was gonna do it. What's up? So we did the little shoulder thing for a minute, bullshit. And I was like, man, back over there. Pushed him. He swung on me. As soon as he hit me, man, everything, I just got scared. I didn't even want to fight. So he whooped my ass. Froze up. Damn. So I remember ducking down, like grabbed him, and he was just gut check.
He was looking like a monster on your ass.
Yeah, man, he was getting me, man. And then my boy at the time, man, I say his name. His name was Lee. He came, broke it up, man. Like, man, y'all stupid. Said some shit like that. Ended up next day, man, we became friends, man. Me and the dude who whooped my ass, we became friends out there. We ain't never had no more problem.
That's all I have. Hey, when you fight somebody and they figure you ain't scared of them, you fought your fault. Fight your fight. They respect you for that. Y'all usually end up being friends from just fucking with challenging them shit. All right, so that's 2 out of 5. Let's go to the next one. I think we gotta be real with this, and y'all know this out here in Atlanta because y'all are #1 in the nation. So we're gonna keep it real on our ones that you can get rid of, because I'm testimonial to ones you can get rid of. But your first STD, that's sexually transmitted disease. Now, since I brought it up, I'm gonna tell you my first experience. I was probably a sophomore in high school, and the girl I was fucking with, she was a ninth grader.
Mm.
So right there, oh, you mess with a young girl, you know, they just look down upon, especially if you was a senior, you mess with a ninth grade, you mess with that child. But you know, ninth, 10th grade, that's fair. So keep it 100, she might have been eighth grade, so she might have been about to go to ninth grade. But I don't really, I know she was younger than me. But anyway, she come to cause my mom worked late. She didn't get out till like 7, 8 o'clock. So I had to, once I got out of school, I had an apartment to myself. Bam. So she came over, came in my room, we played around, fucked around, then I hit that shit. I would say about 2 days later, I'm in a tub, you know, we used to take baths back then and shit.
And seeing
itching and shit, like, what the fuck? Yeah. So, sure enough, I'm scratching, then I pick some shit and I put that shit say boing. I was like, what the fuck, Mom? So I call my mom screaming because I don't know what the fuck going on. And then she come in like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, Mom, I just pulled some shit off my, and then she's like, boy, you got crabs. I'm like, oh, crabs? Like, oh. And then the bad part about that, she was like, well, hold on, let me call the neighbor. And then she didn't call her like on the phone. She yelled and shit. You got any, what's that shit? What that shit they used to use?
It's some kind of cream in a comb. I
yeah, damn. But she's like, you got any? I was like, oh. So everybody knew if you asked for that, you probably trying to get some crab, get rid of some crab. But I was like, oh. So yeah, that's one. So I got another one. Then probably 11th grade year, trying to get this little freak chick that everybody was trying to get with, and I was the first one to get her because she was new to the school. But she had left a reputation behind her, so nobody knew. You know, she's a new hot item, so everybody like chasing. I had a little car back then, my 11th grade year. Yeah, I had a car in my high school years, nigga. So y'all boss up out there and stop acting like kids. Anyway, so I get that shit, and I say, and then I was working at Arby's too. I got a job at Arby's, so. A couple days later, like they say 3 days later and shit, I go to pee. I'm like, shit, hurting like a motherfucker. I'm trying to pee. The shit barely coming out. It burns like a motherfucker. Come to find out, the bitch burnt me with a goddamn chlamydia. Yep. So, hey man, that's my little STD stories. That's where it stopped. Hey, all the other ones y'all new niggas getting, them shit stay with you forever. Them shits back in the day, you can get rid of. They got them VIP new and improved shits now. So pass along to my co-pilots if you got any truths to tell. They're my truths. Hey man, it is what it is.
I'm very disappointed to say I definitely have contracted venereal disease.
Oh man.
Yeah, I say it because it was stupid. It was just stupidity, man. You know better. You know there's things out there to.
No, you need to put something on.
Right.
You didn't just trying to be quick about it.
So many things you do to prevent it, man. I was ignorant, like, man, we gonna do it. It ain't gonna get me.
So you were in your 20s.
Nah, yeah, I was fresh out. No. The first time I was a senior in high school. So I was like 18 or 19.
Oh yeah, because you started late as fuck. Yeah, my fault.
So so I was senior in high school, man, and I had a girlfriend at the time. Mm-hmm. Of course, I was cheating on her too. So
yeah, of course.
And to be honest, don't even know. I can't even say exactly who it was that I got it from because I was tagging. Yeah, I was.
How many had at one time? Just keep it 100.
At that time?
Yeah.
Probably about 4.
Oof. At the same school?
Nah.
Oh,
so
okay.
Chicks I just knew, man, just from different places, man. I had a job, I had my own car.
Yeah.
And then that school, so the circle I ran is just what it was.
Those are the checklists of how you get some ass too.
And so I realized something was wrong when I tried to pee and it felt weird. But I didn't say shit. I was like, man, I'm figuring this out. I was like, went to the clinic. But then my girlfriend comes like, man, she was having discharge. And then
gonorrhea, not chlamydia. Gonorrhea. That's what it was, gonorrhea.
So same here, right? Yeah. I ended up starting getting discharged, and it shit's embarrassing as a man. You get discharged in your underwear.
Yeah,
so like it was terrible.
Yeah.
And end up going to the clinic, getting that straightened out. It's terrible. But got that done, man. And that was my story, man. The first time, man, and being an idiot trying to jump around with all these different chicks, and then didn't even not even at that time wasn't even man enough telling everybody.
Yeah.
It was
So
like
you were still
maybe one or
fucking
two.
after you had it?
Nah, I didn't. No, not once I realized I had it.
Say,
That's the problem.
Yeah,
I didn't know. That's because I was fucking around. I didn't know exactly when I contracted it. Cause you know it don't show up till like a couple days later.
But after you saw it,
Yeah, after I saw it, I was done. Yeah, it's done. Nah, hell no, nah, I ain't do nothing. No, nothing of that. Ooh.
Alright, man, we've been real honest with you guys, so I hope you can appreciate this. Be honest with yourselves. We're gonna try to wrap it up. We're gonna give you part 2 in a minute. We're gonna check out some other features we got to look into, but we'll be back with you. Stay tuned. Two Live Dudes. What's up?